A mother is the most underappreciated person in the world, and we should be spanked just for that fact. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Fundamentals of Parenting. I'm Jaime Buckley, and as I've said many times, society wants to convert you or destroy you. Many don't share this view with me, but I'll argue that society doesn't give a damn about the family, and it works hard to dismantle traditional family values. Fathers are portrayed as walking jokes or people to be embarrassed by, while mothers are mocked for wanting anything other than a career, while Uncle Sam claims to be a parent in your family structure. By the way, Uncle Sam is no longer invited to family functions. He's proved to be creepy as hell. So why am I bringing this up so far into the series about your parenting? Why? We're going to talk about my mom today. When I was roughly 19 years old, my family hit a rough spot in life. My father, who had been a successful executive for several corporations, found himself in Utah with a large family. I'm the oldest of 10, and living in a community who just didn't mind their own business. We were renting a small condo, and I was helping by working 2 24-hour shifts a week at the local 7-Eleven on top of my regular shift. My boss was a good man, and when I explained our circumstances, he gave me the night shift whenever I needed the time. I'd take my checks, and I'd cash them. I'd buy a carton of cigarettes for myself, and then hand the rest over to my father to help care for the family. As uncomfortable as that was for my dad, I still look at those times with a smile because I was able to help in some small way and add to his considerable efforts. The funny part about this, especially working the night shift, was that during the summer, I could sleep by the pool in the condo complex. Here I was, I'm 19 years old. I worked out, I was tan, I was always sleeping at the pool, and always had change to give the local kids to grab a soda from the vending machine that was there by the pool. And the truth is that I didn't have a room, so I slept on the floor or on the couch. I worked nights, so during the day, my house was loud, so I would have a cigarette and then sleep in the warm sun, relaxing to the sound of the water. I had change from a jar I had, looking after every penny, and I'd share with some of the kids because they were friends of my little siblings. The moms all knew who I was through my mother and my siblings, but I found out later that the dads, they all thought that I was a drug dealer. So I found it very odd when we got a knock at the door late one night, and my mother opened the door to a social worker and a police officer. A neighbor had made a call saying my siblings were undernourished, abused, and that my parents were Satan worshipers. The accusation further reported that there was no food in the house, the walls were black, and my siblings were in fear for their lives. The woman insisted she check on the children, to which my darling mother wholeheartedly agreed and welcomed the woman and the officer inside. Now, what do you think they found? I'd like you to know something about my parents. They are the definition of good people. All that I am that's good in me, I got from them. By word and example, my parents walked the walk every day of their lives, and being parents was their number one priority. We were, at that present time, financially poor. There was enough food, there was heat, light, water, toilet paper, beds, blankets, pillows, and something else that the social worker noticed in under 30 seconds. There was love. She walked into a very old room with old paint and carpet that still had vacuum marks across it from our chores being done only 90 minutes beforehand. My beautiful sisters, all 6 of them, were in a circle on the floor, just bathed and in pajamas, braiding each other's hair, singing to each other. My two brothers were on the couch where I was reading to them. And that social worker stopped short. She looked around, and then she seemed to get very, very mad. The officer took one look at my sisters, shook his head. He turned around and he just left the house. I am so sorry, Mrs. Buckley. There's obviously been some misunderstanding. My mother smiled the way she always did when someone tried to pass off an untruth. I think there's been a lie, and it was pointed at us. The woman frowned, but it wasn't at my mother. Yes, she said, more to herself than anyone else. Yes, there has. She looked up then, and I'll be looking into that. In the meantime, I'm going to make some special notes attached to your name. Describe this incident and make sure you are never disturbed again. That's very kind of you. My sisters never stopped singing to each other. The social worker looked over her shoulder at my sisters as she walked out of the room smiling. You have a beautiful family, Mrs. Buckley. I think so, my mother replied. I'm sorry to have disturbed your evening. But then my mother gave a glimpse into her why. And she said, I'm glad you came. And I'm glad there are people out there striving to look out for the welfare of children. It must be a sad job at times, but I'm glad there's a good person doing it. Sorry. Miss my mom. The why. I learned a great deal about being a parent from my mother. She and I talked a lot about what motivated her and how she would find the strength to deal with other people and outside forces when my father was gone on business. She told me how her reasons for being a parent, her why, is what determined. Her why is what reminded her of the choices she had made and how important they were to her, especially during the times of difficulty that she had a hard time remembering those choices. I saw my mom in pain. I've seen my mom weep, seen my mom beg. I've never seen my mother falter or give up. And I'm alive today because of that determination to the mother that I needed. In 2004, the center of my universe was taken, and the only equal I know to my mom is my own wife. My mom died in a horrible car crash that made national news, and this world became a little darker because of it. The how. You get to choose. That will always be the case, regardless of the circumstances. Choose what kind of parent you are going to be. Write it down. Then stick to it. Conclusion. You're going to have times when the world seems to be against you. The sad thing is, for some of us, that just might be the case. Keep in mind that this is your family. These are your children. And stand your ground. Be who you are and who you were meant to be as a parent, not just for your sake, but for your children. What to do next? Call your mother. Just do it. Call your mother and tell her that you love her. And if you won't do it for you, do it for me. Please. Because I can't call mine.